Hi, my name is Kurt Robinson, and today I'm here to offer a few tips about singing for the New Mexico High School Musical Theater Awards.
What's the most important thing for young singers to know?
I would say that the most important thing for a young singer to understand is that when we are singing, we're working with 3 resonances instead of when we're speaking and we work with just 1. So 3 different registers or resonances in the voice where we can produce sound. And in order to sing healthily and to sing consistently and well, we need to make sure that we're making good use of all 3. So we have the chest voice, chest resonance, we have what we call head voice or head resonance, and then we have what's called middle voice, middle resonance, or what you may have heard called the passaggio in the voice. A lot of young singers, when they sing and when they're listening to great singers and they're trying to imitate those sounds and that consistency in the voice, they tend to work in one register. They're tending to push the chest voice higher, or occasionally, if they have classical training, they're tending to pull the head voice down lower. If you want to sing successfully, you have to strengthen and find balance in all 3 registers. So really the training of the voice is learning to sing in chest voice where you speak, learning to sing well and confidently in head voice, and then learning to bridge those 2 resonances through the middle voice. And once a singer has balance and can sing successfully in all 3 of their resonances, their voice begins to sound like one instrument. It has one consistent color from the bottom to the top, and that's what makes a voice sound beautiful and strong. Another important thing for young singers to understand and to know as they work on their voices and their singing is that the singing voice appreciates with age. Appreciation is where something gets better with time instead of getting worse with time. So something like a fine wine or like a violin, something that as it ages, it increases in its tone and in its value. So your voice is similar, and young singers need to understand that they should be allowing their voices to develop naturally. They can absolutely be working on their vocal technique, and they should always be working on their musicality and their joy and their storytelling. A lot of young singers are in a hurry to sound like successful singers that they want to emulate, and so they tend to push their voice or they strain their voice to sound bigger than it's ready to be. So people need to understand that voices mature gradually, and when you're young, you have a pre-adult voice. Women tend to get their full adult voices around their mid to late 20s. So you're going to continue to experience maturity and growth and development in your voice every single year. And men tend to mature even later, so they tend to mature in their late 20s to early 30s. So if you're in high school and you're working on your singing, you still have lots of time to refine your technique and to enjoy your voice, and it's very important that you allow your technique to progress naturally, and also that you are choosing repertoire that supports that natural development.
Can you show us an exercise that bridges the chest voice and the head voice?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing that I would want to explain to any young singer is where that transition occurs. And you can memorize that like a rhyme. So for women, they're going to experience a break area around A, B flat, B. And that's an area where they feel tension pick up in the voice, and then it needs to release as they approach more head resonance. For men, that area is going to be E, F, F sharp. So those are areas of transition where we feel tension pick up, and then we can either successfully release and find more head resonance, or we tend to push the chest voice too far into that area and then it cracks because it can't sustain that pressure. So a really good exercise for releasing pressure in the voice but maintaining chord connection and learning to smooth through that transitional area is going to be what's called the NG humming. So if you think of the end of the word song or the end of the word hung, and you experience what it feels like to vocalize on those 2 consonants, what you're going to get is your muscles are going to result in a coordination where no resonance can go into your mouth cavity. All the resonance has to ascend above into the nasopharynx, the nasal cavity. So this is important because that's where you need to begin to send singing and energy if you want to begin to bridge those 2 areas in your voice. So that's sort of the technique behind it. NG also gives you really solid chord closure. So another huge frustration when young singers are trying to bridge these areas is that their teachers will tell them to take weight off the voice. And that's true, and that's a very important concept, but when they try to remove that weight, they tend to lose the chord connection. So what we end up with is two frustrating results. You either have young singers who are trying to drive their chest voice higher and sort of shouting and abusing the instrument, or they're trying to lighten up, and what they get is a break. They crack into falsetto and their chords lose its thin connection. So this exercise allows you to drop that weight and release pressure off your chords without letting them open and falling into a falsetto production. So what you want to do is simply start below those areas. So again, for women, they might want to start on a low A. So an entire octave below that first transitional area, and you just want to hum lightly on N and G. So you'd come up and go, and then you'd slowly ascend in the scale, and you'd be approaching that transitional area. And as you ascend in the scale, you want to make sure that you feel weight coming off the voice, and that you feel like the highest pitch is actually the lightest connected pitch, not the loudest or the heaviest pitch. And so you'd want to guide that thin chord coordination up to A, B flat B, and across through that area, humming on that N and G sensation, and being very careful to release weight and pressure in the voice. Right up to that B. I like to take my singers one scale past that transition so they feel good release. So I take them to C, and then I work them backwards. And as you descend, you'll start to feel the chords gradually thicken and shorten towards a chest voice coordination. So it's the opposite. On the way up, everything thins and lengthens, and you feel a release. On the way down, you feel things shorten and thicken, and you feel more warmth from the chest resonance as you come back down. You want to keep everything the same volume and the same effort in both directions. And then for men, you'd want to start them lower. I usually start my men around low C. And then you vocalize up through the E, F sharp area to possibly a G, and then back down through. So it'd be the same type of scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you're just giving a light hum. You want it to be as easy as what it would be to hum on the lips, but you want to be humming up higher in the nasal cavity on And just by producing that coordination of those two consonants, the resonance has to skip the mouth and go up to where it needs to be prepared for that transition. So it's perfect. You just hum lightly on So it'd be like and again, with each scale higher, you want to feel weight come off the voice, and you want to feel like the top note is the lightest pitch, rather than trying to drive pressure and weight upward. You use the NG consonants to maintain the chord closure, maintain the connection in the voice, but you also use that light hum to remove all the weight and the strain of chest voice and start to find a smooth transition through. It's important to understand that a lot of times when singers start this exercise, they're going to crack. You're going to experience a break in the voice, but you want to allow that and not judge it. You want to sing back and forth, and you want to start to make more gradual changes rather than sudden changes on one single pitch. You want to start to anticipate the voice gliding towards head, and that'll start to give you more smoothness. But it takes time, and you just want to be patient with it and try it each day as an initial warm-up. To do this in an environment where you're not afraid to make bad sounds, where you can let the voice shake and crack and quiver, and it'll get smoother and smoother with practice. So work up through that change, E, F, F sharp for the men to a G, and then glide it back down. And that's a great warm-up.